5. Here we are in front of this church or old Protestant temple. My wife, who is much more pious than myself, will tell you all about this monument.
I'm going to guide you now. This Protestant temple was erected in 1611 in the middle of the city by Jacques de Durfort, Marquis and Lord of Duras, a family of fervent Protestants. His father was appointed commander of the Basse-Guyenne area by Jeanne d'Albret in 1562. He died on 12th of March 1563 on the battlefield at Orléans, fighting against the Catholics. In 1650, his great-grandson, Jacques-Henri, had much work done in the castle gardens area. During that period, he also rearranged the house by creating a crypt under the temple altar and placing all his Protestant ancestors there. Louis XIV raised the famous Jacques-Henri's status from Marquis of Duras to Duke of Duras in 1689. But this crypt was emptied during the French Revolution when the coffins were threatened to be pillaged. Where are these coffins now? My renowned husband has always refused to tell me. He prefers to keep the secret to protect all these remarkable people. On 29th of December 1683, an order from the quartermaster of Bordeaux forbade the so-called reformed religious practices at Duras. A demolition order was given on 25th of June 1685, but it was never carried through. On 14th of September 1685, about a month before the rescission of Nantes, the Catholics took over the temple, and it became the new church under the patronage of Saint Mary Magdalene in memory of an old chapel located near the castle. A document dating back to 1691 states, "This church that is the old temple looks like a barn. It isn't possible to carry on giving services here and is absolutely necessary to build a new church." For the next 160 years, it was planned to build a bigger church somewhere else. But in the end, between 1823 and 1825, the church was rebuilt in the same place and keeping the shape of the old temple. To do this, they kept the castle's orangery columns. In 1933, Giovanni Masuti introduced decorations in this church, inspired from those he'd seen or elaborated in Italy. This was unknown of at the time in the region, and largely contributed to his fame. His trompe-l'oeil decorations are varied, and they are all particular to his style, false architectural elements. False box sections with added-on rosettes, false dark green marble on the columns, blue painted vaults with swarms of gracious angels. Giovanni Masuti painted the evangelists directly onto the walls. They are inspired from a painting by the Flemish painter Jacob Jordaens, the four evangelists painted around 1625, which is at the Musée du Louvre. On a stretch of wall of 2 meters 86 by 1 meter 42, he copied a painting by the German painter Heinrich Hoffmann, Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, in 1890, which is now kept at the Riverside Church in New York. The current Stations of the Cross dates back to 1922. There are 8 stained glass windows in the church. The first is in the chancel, and represents Christ surrounded by his mother, John and Mary Magdalene. On the right-hand side, Saint Mary Magdalene, Saint Peter, and then Saint Bernadette. On the left-hand side, Saint Jean-Marie Vianney, who was priest at Ars, Saint Louis, and Saint Foy, who was patron of the Agen parish. And finally, above the entrance porch, Saint Michael the Archangel striking the dragon down. There we are. If you now go outside and turn left, my husband will be waiting for you at the old city door.